Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear up here in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up those football gods. Wake up here, guys. Wake up. It's time to get up. It is finally freaking Friday as we sit right here 140 days, 10 hours, 37 minutes, and 10 seconds away from the NFL draft of 2021. We have 4 games, friends. Just 4 freaking games left. That's it, period. End of story. And this season has been a disappointment. And the thing that we have to figure out now is, why has this season been so disappointing? There's a lot of speculation that, a lot of people will say, fire the coach. The coaches stink. Here it is. Jason Garrett was better than these guys. Some people look at the players. Some people look at COVID. You'll look at a multitude of things, and it may be a combination of all of the above. Now, Mike Fisher reported yesterday that Mike McCarthy actually went in on the players because of a lack of effort in the second half of the Baltimore Ravens game. In fact, I can go back and point at other games. When you go back to the Washington game, which the game seemed to be still within reach until we ended up fake punting on our 24-yard line. That fake punt ended up changing the complexity of that game. You gave the Washington football team an easy score, and you could literally see the players just pack it in. They just literally just said, this is it. It's done. It's over. We're out of here. It stinks. We can't win after that move. And you could definitely point at that game and say, yeah, after that happened, you definitely lost focus and you checked out. So is that on the players? Or is that on the coaching that ended up taking them out of what they were doing? That's the big question right there. Was it the players, or was it the coaching that ended up being the problem? Now, I'm kind of on the fence. Am I happy now that Mike McCarthy is trying to flex his coaching might and getting after people and getting in there? Or am I mad that it took until you're out of the playoffs for you to actually try and motivate the players? It seems like you're closing the barn door after everybody's done run out. I look around and I see we have some good players. We have some players that maybe not quite as good. We have some that seem to be more motivated than others. We have others that seem to be lackadaisical. And it seems like the biggest thing we're missing in a vacuum is leadership. Charles Haley. Charles crazy. I remember how Charles was at JMU. Charles practiced the way he played. I know we're talking about practice. But if you were on the football field and Charles Haley was out there, you better have your chin strap buckled up. You better be ready to play. And if you weren't about winning, then Charles had nothing for you except a foot in your ass. And he took that onto the playing field on game day. Didn't matter if we were outmatched, because we didn't do a lot of winning at JMU back in those days. That was before they were a 2-time national champion. That was when, during the 80s, when it went from being a club football team to being Division I AA. But that guy was a leader. He was crazy. He was funny. He had a very wild sense of humor. But he had a way of getting in your face to let you know that you are screwing up, that you are messing up my money. And there's a vacuum on our defense for that. You have some coaches that are the coaches that fire you up to the point where you are ready to literally run through a brick wall, that the players believe every word that they say. And I don't think Mike McCarthy has gotten that to these guys. I think this defense with Mike Nolan, and maybe it's Mike Nolan is the first one that's going to need to be replaced because it seems like the players aren't responding to him, or the players need to be replaced there. I don't know which. And you can point the fingers in all kinds of different directions. It may be a little bit of everything. But you can't look at this coaching staff with what we've got. And I understand we've had a lot of injuries. That with the injuries that we have, it's hard to compete. I get that. But in the grand scheme of things, when you're talking about effort, you're talking about guys that are giving up on plays, you see guys that are just jogging around or just watching somebody else just make the tackle instead of engaging, then that does not bode well for a team. And Mike McCarthy has got 4 games left to try and win this team over to get some momentum going into next year. Now, if you are a tankologist, you're a guy that's hoping that the Cowboys get as high as possible draft pick, you don't want them to win. But you got to understand that Washington and the Giants, one of those teams more than likely will win the division. The other one will probably end up being second. I don't see the Eagles turning anything around, although maybe Hurts is lightning in a bottle and helps to get Carson Wentz shipped out of town. That's a possibility. But I don't see our 2 teams challenging for that. But what you have right now in Washington and New York, regardless of who wins the division, is you have hope and you have a belief system in the coach. Those players right now will ride or die with Ron Rivera. They believe it. They're having fun. They're going to be in that offseason. I can't wait to get back to continue what we started. Same thing with the Giants. It was, here come the judge, here come the judge. And now it's, here comes the judge. And those guys now can start saying, okay, it's different now. We've got a coach. We're going to get some more players, some reinforcements. We're going to be better next year. Just wait, man. And going in the offseason, it's like, I'm pumped for next year. I'm going to work harder because I'm going to make sure that I'm a big piece of what we do here. But when you're just bad, think about the Jets right now. Those players are just like, man, I just can't wait to get this thing over with, man. Screw football. This sucks, man. We're just awful. And that's what we're fighting now. Because what happens the next 4 weeks can carry over to next year. And you can look and point towards when our defense actually started to seem like they turned a corner. When they actually laid down the law, they got rid of some dead weight. They made some changes. They kind of said, enough is enough. I have had it with this bull crap. And guys responded for a short time. And maybe that's what Mike McCarthy is trying to do, or maybe Mike McCarthy is reading the writing on the wall that right now Jerry Jones, who has a very short window left to try and get back to the mountaintop, may not be as patient as he was with Jason Garrett. So this may be the reason why you're seeing Mike McCarthy putting his foot in people's asses, letting the players know, you got to give full effort every play throughout the game, whether we're getting beat or whether we're winning. And that should be without saying. You should never have to question what your players are doing on the field. Never. We got a lot to work on. We got a lot to digest in this season. I just never thought 2020 was going to end up being like this. I thought for sure that this team was actually heading in the right direction, that we finally had a coach who was going to be able to do some great things, that we as an organization was maybe going to take a step further. But hey, at least the Eagles aren't either. All right, y'all. It's Friday. We got our live stream tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. I believe we're going to have Skywalker Steele will be joining us here tonight. So we'll have a different point of view. And Skywalker Steele's doing some great work. In fact, he broke down film of Terrence Steele. And Terrence Steele is one of those guys that actually, I couldn't believe it. He actually trucked my man Calais Campbell. He actually did some really good blocking in there. And this may be where these guys who are playing lackadaisical, that are taking plays off, that maybe their ass needs to be sitting on the bench, and you get these young guys out there to get some experience. Because, brother, I damn sure don't want to start living like this every year. This sucks. All right. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.